are out there for the Celtics. They're going to go. They're not going to use the timeout. Plenty of time here. It's Tatum. Robinson's on him. Tatum maneuvering. Oh, the ball knocked away. Another great defensive play for the Knicks. They've got it. They've won it. New York has gone up 2-0. And defense again at the end. Mikal Bridges, who did not have a point going into the fourth.
It was another wild night around the NBA where we saw the New York Knicks come back from being 20 points down again, and the Denver Nuggets get absolutely destroyed in Game 2 against the Oklahoma City Thunder. We're going to talk about it all and more right after this.
Welcome to the number one place for your daily basketball news and analysis, NBA Central.
What's going on, basketball fans? Welcome to another episode of NBA Central, your number one spot for everything basketball related. I'm the host, Sarah Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at NBA Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into the content for today, y'all. And this playoffs continues to be just wild, crazy, unpredictable. It's a lot when it comes down to. You got the OKC Thunder setting a record as far as first half point score when they have a 87-point first half. It's just crazy. We're going to talk about that, of course, but let's get into the first game of the night in which the New York Knicks came back down from being down 20 points yet again. The Knicks scored 13 points in the first quarter of this game. They're going to win the second quarter, scoring 28 points. They only scored 20 in the third quarter as well, but the New York Knicks, once again, they just come back. It's been crazy to see this. This is a series so far in which the Boston Celtics have done enough theoretically to win the game, right? And this game came down to a couple of possessions that were just wild, right? So you get the Boston Celtics being down. They were down by 1 point. Jason Tatum goes from sideline to sideline, right? From basket to basket, completely untouched. To then go to dunk the basketball, which puts the Boston Celtics up, right? And unfortunately, it wasn't enough, right? You then get Jalen Brunson to go down, and he hits a crazy shot. Then you get Jason Tatum with the ball in his hands again, looking like he's going to do, something and seal this game, and Mikal Bridges blocks the shot. It's on the thumbnail of this video. That's how crazy it was, right? But let's be clear. The New York Knicks went on a 21-2 run from the 8-minute and 27 mark in this game to the 44-second mark left, right? And even then, Boston still had a chance to win the game and failed to be able to win this game. This was something that just, it's crazy how this has gone, right? And so now the New York Knicks, they go back to New York, and they're going to be up 2-0 against the Boston Celtics, much like we talked about with the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Celtics now have to win 4 out of the next 5 games to be able to dig themselves out of this hole that they're now in. And it's just ridiculous, right? And you look at the performance of this, like this wasn't even a high-scoring game. 91-90 is your final here. Mikal Bridges scores 14 points. You got Karl-Anthony Towns with 21 points. You got Josh Hart with 23 points. Again, only 3 deep into your bench with Mitchell Robinson playing 22 minutes. 5 for campaign. You could barely count that. Miles McBride has 17 minutes in this game. But overall, like the Knicks, it goes to show that whole thing of no lead is big enough. That's been made true in every step of these playoffs so far. And the New York Knicks coming back down from 20 points in both games to be able to seal it and go back home now 2 up on the Boston Celtics, the reigning NBA champions. This is just not something like when you look at the Eastern Conference, right? For the Celtics and the Cavs to both be teams that are down 0-2 to start off these series in what many people thought was them being destined to meet in the Eastern Conference playoffs. This is why, like, you can never take the regular season and just think that means that that's how it's going to play out in the postseason. You just can't, especially in the East. It's always in the East where you just get unexpected things to happen. The New York Knicks, who struggle to beat not only Boston, but top teams in the league all season, have been able to now come back from being 20 points down twice to be able to seal victories. That's crazy, right? That is crazy when it all comes down to you just don't expect things like that. And that's what has made this playoff run, just the playoffs overall, so unpredictable, right? Joe Mazzulla after the game saying this: we put ourselves in position to win, and we just didn't make plays. I mean, he's right. You didn't make the plays, and technically you did. That dunk by Jason Tatum to only leave a couple of seconds on the clock should have, in most scenarios, would have probably sealed the game. Jalen Brunson is Jalen Brunson. He gets to the free throw line, and then you get stopped. You technically in the game on a 4-2 run, right? Like, and I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but when the game was that close, like it defies logic. But this is why you cannot predict, no matter all the scenarios, all the situations you look at, all the advanced analytics, right? I'm an advanced analytics guy. I get into the weeds of basketball nerdom. You cannot predict any of this stuff, right? It only gets you so far in trying to be a nerd and predict things like this, because it's, like I said, I know I keep using this phrase, but this is really the only thing I could come up with. It truly, truly defies logic. It just defies logic. And the fans in Boston are pissed, right? Which is another thing in all of this. This is what it's like to be an NBA fan. This is when you go into playoffs. This is what you want to try to see, right? This is what you want. You can't predict this. You can never expect it, but this is the thing that you hope and dream for, is that you get scenarios like this that are just unfreaking predictable. But, that's my thoughts on it. Moving on from this, well, let's not move on from the Knicks game yet, right? Because I want to focus on the Boston Celtics just a little bit here before we go, right? This is yet another game where the Boston Celtics do not shoot the three ball well at all. 25% from three in this game. They go 10 of 40. And this is, again, the live by the three, die by the three. Now, they didn't shoot the ball overly efficiently anyway. 36% in this game overall. That's not enough. That's not going to cut it, right? And so the Boston Celtics, who have played the math game extremely well over the course of this NBA season, it's not working for them. It's just not working for them. And this is why, a lot of people that talk about the 3-point, the reliance on the 3-point, shooting now in the modern NBA, and they don't like it and things like that. This is a perfect example of why you got to have something more than that. And the Boston Celtics, listen, they're down 0-2. It sucks to put yourself in this position, but they're not out of it yet. If they can they're going to have to win both of them in New York. I don't think you can win just one in New York and think you're going to go down 3-1, right? And then have to win every game remaining. You have to get both these games in New York, and that's already going to be a tall test. The New York Knicks are riding momentum. And after that, letting Jason Tatum go completely untouched to the bucket that almost cost you this game, Tibbs was pissed. And then you get a defensive play from Mikal Bridges, right? So you get 20 points from Jaylen Brown, 20 from Derek Wright. Jason Tatum only gives you 13, right? He's 5 of 19 from the field in this game. He does have 14 rebounds. And this is why some of the criticisms do exist for Jason Tatum that fans have out there on him, right? This is a game where you needed somebody to step up. It wasn't Jaylen Brown. He was 8 of 23 from the field. It wasn't Jason Tatum. In a way it was, because he did get that dunk, but you just need more. And I expected better out of the Boston Celtics, at least defensively, in this series. And we'll see what the future does. We'll see what the future does hold for them as the series goes on. But let's move on to the next game. In this game, this was abuse. That's what this was. The Oklahoma City Thunder took that game one loss personally. That's what they did. They took it personally, and they came back out here, and you could tell from the opening tip-off that this team did not want to allow the Denver Nuggets to get any momentum at all. You look at the whole first quarter was a run. They went on a 45-21 run in the first quarter, right? That's the entirety of the first quarter. You get outscored by almost 20 points in the first quarter. It was already going to be a bad night, right? And then the Denver Nuggets open up the second quarter with a 7-4 run, which it looks like, okay, maybe they're going to start chipping away at this. Again, no lead safe in the NBA. Thunder go on a 15-7 run at that point to push the game to be 64-35. By the end of the second quarter in this game, it was 87-56. The Oklahoma City Thunder set an NBA record, an NBA record with 87-point first half. That's never been done in the playoffs before. That's impressive. That is wild to think of. Not only did they set a franchise record as well for scoring in the first quarter, it's this. You can't predict this type of thing. You cannot predict this at all. And then you look at it like at that point, the Nuggets were just never in this game after that. Never in this game. They went on some runs. It didn't matter. You can chip away at the lead. When you're off to a lead that big, it doesn't matter. But then they even finished the third quarter with a 25-7 run. By the end of the third quarter, it's 124-76. There's no way. There was no overcoming that at that point in time. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the Oklahoma City Thunder, they had a target, and that target was the Denver Nuggets, and the Denver Nuggets did a little bit of momentum. They did what the Boston Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers were not able to do. They stopped that momentum. The momentum that the Denver Nuggets came away from game one and the confidence that came away from game one, they completely snatched all that back. Jokic has one of the most human games you will ever see Jokic have. 17 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. He also had 6 personal fouls, fouled out in that game, 6 turnovers. This was the most human I've ever seen Jokic play. And for as much as it seemed like Hartenstein and Chet maybe weren't ready for Jokic and the physical presence he was going to bring, that all fixed itself in this game. They were ready. They were prepared. And, that's what was expected. Chet had 15 points in this game. Jalen Williams had 17. Isaiah had 14. Of course, Shai did the heavy lifting with 34 points, and then 12 from Lou Dort. You also had Isaiah Joe with 14 points, Aaron Wiggins with 10. But at that point, most of that was over at that point in time. You didn't even need a crazy game from Alex Caruso. He only played 10 minutes in this game. This was such an unexpected blowout, not in this fashion. The Denver Nuggets shoot 37% in this game. The Oklahoma City Thunder shoot 56%. This was target practice, and the target was the Denver Nuggets. And, it's the series tied 1-1, so it's not by any stretch of the imagination over. I know a loss like this, it makes you want to count out a team. But listen, if this playoffs has shown you nothing at all, you cannot assume anything, right? So you're going to go to Denver now in this series. The Oklahoma City Thunder are going to need to steal at least one to get home court advantage back, right? But overall, man, this was ugly. This was absolutely ugly. And the challenge now that's in front of the Denver Nuggets to try to get out of this, they're being killed. The Denver Nuggets fans are killing them on social media. And it is what it is, man. We knew that the Nuggets were not coming back by the end of the second quarter, and definitely by halfway through the third quarter. And that's unfortunate in a playoff game. And I know this was entertaining for a different, because it was entertaining from the sense of how much further can this really go, right? How much further could just waiting to see the Denver Nuggets be put out of their misery in this game? Man, it was ugly to see. It was definitely ugly to see. But we now shift our attention to Thursday, where it's only one game on Thursday tomorrow. It is the Golden State Warriors versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. This is going to be a game where I'm really excited for this game as well, right? The Timberwolves, who they went down 1-0, right? So they're going to try to keep from them going down 2-0 at home before the series switches to Golden State. And, this is a game in which the first game where Anthony Edwards just did not give what we've been used to seeing and accustomed to seeing from him. Now, we know that Steph is going to miss this game, and he may be out all the way through Game 5. This is a must-win for the Minnesota Timberwolves tomorrow. They have to win this game. If they don't win this game, it's going to turn into an utter shit show, the same situation that the Boston Celtics and Cleveland Cavaliers find themselves in. Especially with Steph Curry out, you cannot afford to lose this game at home. You have to win this game. That's it, right? And it's so crazy that I don't know if ever before this I've really ever looked at a game 2 as something that you just cannot miss out on. And that's what this is. The second game, it's a must-win for the Minnesota Timberwolves. But I expect another crazy night. Even with one game, I would not be surprised at all if this is another crazy night, because that's just the way that these playoffs has gone. It's been crazy. One night after another. It's been nonstop, ball to the walls, craziness. But that's why we love this, man. That is why we love NBA basketball, because I was going to say this early on, right? But I want to get through the games. If this is not the best case for Adam Silver and the parity that they want around the NBA, right? They want parity around the NBA. You have a 6 and 7 seed. One of those guys are guaranteed to get to the Western Conference Finals. You have these games where teams that have been dominant throughout the entirety of the season, in the Cavs in Boston, and even the Oklahoma City Thunder, all lost, right, game ones, which made game twos even more interesting. Thunder go on to win that, but like this, just the parity around the league is real. It is real, and I know during the regular season, it doesn't feel like that all the time, but it is a lot of parity around this league. Of course, the parity is all kind of up within like the first 4 or 5 seeds in each conference, but don't allow just the records to make you think the teams can't fight above their weight. That is what that's why you play the playoffs. That's why you go through this, because it's any given day. This has been one of the most exciting playoffs that I have ever been a part of in my life, and it's been fun. I look forward to continue to cover it. We'll be live here throughout the playoffs on the channel. No lives tonight just because I needed a break. I needed to rest my vocal cords, but I had to get you guys this episode out. Didn't want to wait till tomorrow morning. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys are following us at NBA Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, NBA Central Show at gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything basketball related. I'll see you guys the next time I feel like making an episode. Prior tomorrow. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.